Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Foxture, on the show as the one and only Bridgeman and our big mucker, Southside. How we doing, gents?
Aye, good talks, and good to be on with the legend once again, the Bridgeman, mate.
Well, what can I say? Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure's all mine, I can assure you. And a good evening to yourself, Foxture, and your team in the background. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, in particular Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, you need to smile. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Yes, I mean, obviously we're all disappointed, Southside. We dropped 2 points, but I don't want to upset anybody. But we have drew football games in the past, and I'm sure we might draw them in the future as well, Southside.
Aye, we certainly have drew games before. Aye, pretty gutted coming out of the game on Saturday, Ox. You can say, with 9 men and we lost a late goal and we got a draw, so we should be happy it wasn't a defeat, but it felt like a defeat coming away on Saturday.
We've not done any credit, mate, but it's difficult, Bridgeman, to play 12 against 9, isn't it?
Yeah. I think most of us all feel the same. It's like the truth of the matter is we just threw it away. I don't know what happened to us, and you know, I think some of the players just must have taken a sort of daft stroke, you know. However, I think the referee was harsh against Rangers, very harsh against Rangers, and that's only my opinion. And I think Hibs, and I must be very honest and say this, Hibs will not believe that they never won that game. They're playing against 9 men. It's incredible.
But they never, actually, I think that's where a lot of the frustration came from, because Southside, it was the fact that we lost a goal, boy had a dig and we're in the net, you know, and it happens, and it happens in the last minute. It happened against Ross County, and we've got this trait at the moment.
Well, we'd weathered the storm, didn't we, Ox, for the second
if it was done, mate, let's be honest, you at the game, yeah, you thought it was done then, eh?
Done, aye. I thought we were just going to hold on and see it out. And to be honest, if we had come out, we'd have come away happier. A lot happier. We'd picked up 3 points and we'd finished the game, unfortunately, with 9 men. But we'd held on after being in the lead. So, aye, it was just disappointing, mate. But a point's a point, and we just need to roll on and move on for it.
Aye, okay.
Do you think back a few years ago when Rangers had down to 9 men, we played against St Mirren, remember?
Aye.
And we beat them. And how did we do that? I've got no idea, but we did it. It was great.
Aye, we done it. We got a result away. And Ufa, wasn't it? Was it Ufa? No, was it Ufa? No, it wasn't Ufa. It was
the one against St Mirren was the cup
final.
Aye, the pigeon.
We done it.
That was the one where he
Morelos gets sent off, didn't he?
Aye, Ufa and Flanagan.
But aye, look, we never get beat. But let's not try and mirror the cracks. There's a couple of things, and I'll give you my views, and then you can chop in. I've got concerns that we're not starting games well enough, and the goals we're scoring in the first half will point out to that. I'm going to get to the big decisions in a minute, and you can chip in. Our first effort at goal was a penalty kick, Southside.
I know the first half was absolutely shocking for us, and like you say, to get to that point of your first shot at goal, it's not acceptable.
Aye. Right, so we get the penalty. I think it was a soft penalty, and I'm judging that on the fact that Bridgeman, if it had been given against us, I would have been happy.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I look to me, and it's only my eyes I see it through, and I look to me as if we pulled them, and that's, to me, that's just a penalty. Now, nothing massive in it, you know, but other referees could quite easily have just let that go. Even
I wouldn't insult that other referees by calling him a referee, mate.
No, you know what I mean. All I mean is that some referees wouldn't have given that, and we could be upset. So we've been upset before, but it wasn't. To me, it didn't look like a stone wall. It was to me a penalty. If a penalty decision given, then I'm happy with it. I'm happy with that. So
you'd have been happy if that had been given in the other box against us?
Oh no! I'm never happy about a penalty against us. But you got sort of the brain goes into a bit of equality, you know. That we actually got that. I think it was a wee bit soft penalty, but we got it. And if it had been given against us, I don't think it would have been very good for us, you know.
Your you're either pregnant or you're no south side. Was it a penalty?
It was a very, very soft penalty for us, mate, to be honest. I wouldn't have been happy at getting gave against us.
Right, okay, fair enough. I get that. But there was an incident in the first half that laterally showed how, and I'll use the word incompetent, the official was in the middle. It teaches a subject in a school, right? But the boy takes out Lundstrom with a tackle and gets a yellow card. And then 30 minutes later, approximately south side, there's a similar, a less innocuous channel, and it's a red card. That was a terrible decision of the day, yeah.
100%. It's just no. It's no like. It's like for like someone in a tackle. I thought Doyle Hayes won it. I think. I thought his was more. He sort of put his leg a wee bit more out for the side, whereas Lundstrom, to me, although he's came in at the back, he's flicked his heels. But it looked disorient on Lundstrom at first, to be honest. In my opinion,
I said Doyle Hayes sounds like a character out of Butch Cassidy.
I think I agree with you. I think it was the tackle on Lundstrom was a bit more harsh. The tackle was harsh than Lundstrom's on the other guy. I just didn't see the two of them were very alike now.
Very similar. I think the Hibs one was slightly more intent in it.
Yeah, indeed.
And I think Lundstrom's was a tap tackle to stop the boy going forward. I don't understand why he done it personally, but it was never a red card. Never.
He done it because you lost the fucking ball and the guy ran after him.
Bridgeman.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Right, and it's Southside die. So look, we're going 1-0 at half time. We've got the boost. We've come out and we've started slow again. Is that fair?
Aye, we didn't half. Just exactly like we did in the first half. Everton just seems to be a bit lethargic with getting the ball forward, Docs, no? And I think probably are going to allude to just before the equaliser, Matondo. You've got to go in and win that ball. If you remember before, the boy wins the ball. He's got to go.
And you've also got to go with the runner, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep.
You've got to go with the runner. All right. A pass inside Tav, it can happen. I think Tav get caught in his heels a wee bit, Bridge, yeah?
Yeah, quite a lot, actually.
He get caught trying to move forward when he should have been moving back, and then that fraction. And then, when it does go inside him, between all our defenders and our goalkeeper, we should be able to keep that out, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, it's I just look at Rangers, and this is my club, and we do really well at Ibrox and things like that. But really, truly, when we were away from home there, that against the Hibs was just appalling. We just never got into second gear at all. Never even changed the gears up.
Rich, we're talking about the goal we lost. Yeah?
The goal we lost against
the first
goal.
Yes.
Well, I think our defence fell apart. That's my honest opinion.
That sums it up. That sums it up. Southside.
I think in that situation, when we've seen the danger and Boyle's making a run, I think when we track him, in my eyes, we've got two defenders and we've got a goalkeeper that you've surely got to think he's going to go low across the goal. He might have to take one in the head or the shoulder, but I would like to have seen him try to get down a bit quicker and across to try and maybe block it. And I think one of our defenders should have tried to get in front at the post to try and get the ball out for a corner box. Two of them have come in late. The ball's come across, and how he managed to get it in between the two of them and the goalkeeper. It's a bad goal to lose, I think, because he's no chipping it across. See Boyle making the run. He's going to hit it low. So I would have expected us, between the goalkeeper and the two defenders, to get in front of him, but unfortunately that didn't happen, mate.
Yeah, you're right there. I thought Boyle was a bit offside, to be honest, but not going to get it anyway. But there's three Rangers players there.
I thought the boy was played inside. It could have been offside, but when I seen the replay, Bridge, he timed his run pretty well. But they three players between them and McLaughlin. When that ball comes in like that, it's very close to the goal. He can influence that play, Bridger.
No, I would have thought he could have dived out. Sees the ball's coming. He's not that far away from it, It's all happening in the near post.
Aye, so we lose the goal, and you're thinking, no. And then, Southside, Jack to Lundstrom for arguably the first time in the match, if I've been honest, mate. Yeah. Lundstrom out to Kent. I think it was Lundstrom out to Kent. Or maybe Jack out to Kent. Sorry.
I think it was Jack. I think Jack played it to Kent. Kent
hodds the ball up. Beautiful timed run by Borna. Borna puts in a wonderful cross, and Tom Lawrence with a fabulous goal. Fabulous goal, yeah?
Superb goal. Goal.
It was a great header. Timed his run great into the box. Sholak made a run towards that post and took away one of the players, maybe two. And Lawrence was coming in with somebody trying to sort of catch up with him, and he bulleted the header in. It's the type of goals that we're looking for to get the ball put in and a midfield runner coming into the box. Cholak's already in there. And he's took away a defender or two by making a run to the front post. So it was a good, well worked team goal, Ox.
Aye, and a great finish for the boy Tom Lawrence. And Port Bear, I'll take my hat off to him. Predicted he would maybe be involved in more goals than Joe Aribo. He never said he was a better player. I think he did, but that's another subject. But Lawrence is starting to certainly influence the games, Bridge, with his amount of assists and his goals.
Oh yes, he's playing very, very well. When that goal went in and the way we played to get the goal, the whole build up to it and him putting it in the net, when that went in there, I thought, oh, that's it. We can't end bad now. This is our game. We can go here and win this. No problem at all. And we should have done. You're right, Tom Lawrence, very, very good player. I'm very impressed by him. Very impressed.
He's influenced games, so fair play to him. Right, okay, so he gets a goal. If we're honest, Southside, we're slightly the better team. Alfie's come on just as we've lost the equaliser, but then we look as if we're going to just be in control of the game. Arguably get a third. And then the official, or the so-called official, tries to influence the game by a ridiculous sending off, which I think will get rescinded myself, but it's obviously too late. And that was a big decision in the match, mate.
Changed the game, just on that pivotal moment. Well, influenced the game. I'd say it influenced the game at that point. I'll be honest, I didn't expect the red card, Ox, if I'm honest. It looked like one of the fouls that you see loads of times on in games where the player gets a yellow card. We'd witnessed one a wee bit more cynical because he gave a yellow, but you've seen these fouls before and most of them are yellow cards. So I was quite shocked. He sprinted right up to him and I just thought what was going on here, and then he just produced a red card and I just thought there's Willie Collum doing a number on us. That's what I was actually thinking at the time, because I couldn't see why he gave the red card. Might have looked different for his angle, mate, but...
Nah, it was never a red card.
Nah.
I mean, he's well initialed the man, isn't he?
yeah, isn't he half?
I agree with you. It was an absolutely astounding decision. Astounding. And I thought right away, just take the players off here, give them the game. That's what I said. That's what I angry was. That was a disgraceful decision by a referee. Disgraceful. And I don't know, that guy's been under the microscope a number of times in his career, both abroad and here. So it's not as if we're alone. But gee whiz, it was like, let's see what we can do against Rangers. That's what it seemed like.
It was an awful decision, and it did influence the game. Look, we'll never be able to answer Southside how the game would have panned out. We don't know. We could have lost with 11 against 11. You'll never know that. But I just know where he's coming from. And then a few minutes later, we get the other decision. Well, I think there's a lot of frustration in the support about Alfie's temperament, shall we say. Southside, Denbridge.
It's shocking behaviour, mate. People can say he might not have deserved to be sent off or what, but we're already a man down. He's come onto the park, in my opinion. He's come on with 30 minutes to go and he's to get his fitness up, try and get into a bit of shape because he's still out of shape. We've been out for injury and we're hoping to get a bit match fitness into him. And basically, he lasts 15 minutes. It was like the old Alfie, probably the best part of nearly 3 years ago, since I think he'd been last sent off. And most days coming out the stadium were probably more angry with him, because it was daftness, mate, just complete daftness, petulant, and it just scunnered everybody. It was bad enough losing a late goal, but I mean, he didn't. He came on. He's meant to come on and help the team when we're a man down, and all he done was add to it. You know, it's poor, mate. And I'll be honest, the club should fine him. There's no excuse for it, in my opinion, mate. Honestly,
you've got to play the game. You've got to play the situation, Bridgeman. It's a team game.
Yeah, I think there was a number of times I was in my mind. I'm trying to think, what on earth did the Hibernian player do for Alfie to react in any way, shape or form? But what did they do? And I was trying to think back to when people were stamping on the back of his heel, you know, and a number of times that happened to him. And I'm thinking, you know, what did he do? I never saw the guy actually touch him, so maybe he did and maybe it wasn't. But I think it was really stupid. I don't think he hit him. Did he actually hit him with his on?
No. If he did, it's no much. The problem is
he just raised his hand to him as if he was going to hit him.
He's been petulant. I'll use that word, petulant, and he's gave somebody a decision to make. Listen, we usually hear from the manager, but we're going to hear from your captain here, who mentions everything. So get yourself a mute and let's hear from James Tavernier.
James, give me your thoughts on that game this afternoon.
Disappointed, angry, but happy to see the character that the boys shown with the situation that happened. I feel that, you know, some decision makings in the game, you know, maybe cost us, but you know, we take the lead first half. We created some chances. Probably want to create more. Second half, we conceded a sloppy goal, then put ourselves ahead. Then only to see a decision to be made on us, which we thought was worth a challenge in the first half, and you know, it's a simple trip and he gets a red card, which, you know, turns it into their favour. But you know, Alfredo wasn't stupid. He was going to ask questions, but you know, we put ourselves really on the back foot. But I thought the character that we've shown, you know, it's obviously disappointing to concede a goal towards the end. We tried to do everything possible, but we obviously leave here with a point. Disappointed, but you know, we've got to look forward to Wednesday now.
How frustrating, having done well with the 9 men for so long, you're almost there to then lose it almost with the last kick of the ball.
Yeah, it's so disappointing, especially when, you know, slices the ball and if he probably gets a good connection, he might have gone straight into John. It's disappointing, but you know, we come here with a point. You know, we defended it the best we could, but yeah, we've just got to put this behind us and really focus on Wednesday and the coming games ahead.
And as you say, Wednesday, what a huge game for everyone involved with the football club to look forward to.
Yeah, it's obviously a massive game for us, for the team, for the club and the fans. We obviously want to try and get football, Champions League football, back at Ibrox, and you know, we'll go over there and do everything possible to try to achieve that.
So the word James used there, the south side, was stupid, I think. Was it stupid? Yeah?
Aye, stupid, aye.
And that sums it up. Yeah, I can hear the disappointment in his voice, and it was because we've lost a goal in the last minute, when I get everybody's frustrations. I'm going to put it to you two before we open the phone lines. We've got an issue with our team, and I don't know if it's chopping or changing, lack of confidence, but we're not making enough chances Southside.
No, we're starting dead slow, and we're not creating, and we have changed the team a bit, took Tillman out of the team, put Matondo in. I mean, frustrating on Saturday. Individual players that had chances to go take men on, one man on at times when they had the ball, weren't they willing to do it in my eyes at times? And that, to me, is not acceptable. Matondo was left 1-on-1 a few times in the first half, and for some reason we all say he's got this blistering pace. So how did we not see it on Saturday when he could have took 2 touches and then went a run at that left back? He chose to come inside and keep a hold of the ball, and virtually done. He was non-existent the first half, but he wasn't the only one. But for us, when we've just paid £4 million, mate, and we're looking for these players to make an impact, like you say, we're not creating them, we're not starting quick. And that's a winger that we're hoping to get on the ball and show us some electric pace and create something. And he done nothing on Saturday in the first half, absolutely nothing.
Don't think he done a lot in the second half, neither, if I'm being honest.
No.
You
But
know, you win as a team.
Mm-hmm.
You win as a team, you lose as a team, Bridgeman, and it wasn't just the young boys' fault that we lost, but you put your finger on it. Why we're so pedestrian at the start? Was it rope-a-dope? Was it this possession football? I don't know. Any ideas, mate?
Well, I think the possession football is brilliant if we can play it right, but we're not actually getting that being one cut through, you know, it makes it all matter, or a shot from 18, 20 yards. That's what we need. We need these things to create that impetus. So Tom, give it to that Tom, whatever his name is, and let him go and do it, you know, because he's a smashing good shot on him. I can't believe that Lundstrom doesn't shoot at goals as much as I'd like him to do it, you know. I think that's what it is. We've got plenty of pace of running, and then we seem to stop because there's too many defenders. That's what we all think. I would imagine all our players think. There's too many defenders there, and they can't see an opening. Have a dig, because the ball can go anywhere. I can hit any one of them and skate into the net. It doesn't matter. Have a dig.
All right, so I'm going to put it out there as Alfie's our talisman. Do we feel like doing for Alfredo Morelos, or is there something wrong with the tactics? It'd be interesting to see what people go to see Southsider.
Aye, but mate, I'd like to hear what people like to think. I think we start slow, lethargic, and I'm just struggling to see a bit of an identity of our team at the moment. You know, I'm struggling just to see the shape and how we play. I just don't see a pattern in there, mate, to be honest.
Talking about shapes and cutting shapes and that, mate, I believe you had a social evening. I'm hearing through the grapevine, mate.
Oh, did you? Aye.
No Marvin Gaye. I'm hearing through the grapevine, but just to let you know that the MC at the evening will be hosting a show on here sooner or later, yes.
Oh, well, yeah, all right, yeah. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Yes, he most definitely will. Yes, talking about shapes, yes. All right, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Okay, I just can't put my finger on it. I don't know what we're trying to do. Is it a lack of consistency in the selection? We've done a lot of chopping and changing. We're bringing new boys into the team. Some of them have done really well. Some of them haven't done so well. Is it the blend? Is it? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Help me out, Bridge. Help me out.
Yeah, all the words that you just said there, the end is a blend. And we are blending to a certain extent, and then we find, wait a minute, we've got some nice players and we play nice football, but then we have to come up against this big barrage of defenders. And it's been the same for a number of years now. We just don't have the one that'll take us through. If we're trying to walk the ball into the net, it's not going to happen. You have to come in for the sides to make that happen. We have a wee cutback. But geez, we're a far better team than that mob and Saturday. Far better team. I'll tell you what, you'll be hard to see anybody in Scotland saying that Rangers were the better team. It'll be hard to see it. And just something about Rangers, they're not sparking properly. I don't know what it is. I hope the manager fine.
Listen, look, I know there's the circumstances in the game, and I'll get sympathy for the 9-minute finish, Southside. But it doesn't matter who. The fact is, help me out here, Southside. We ain't playing well.
No, we're not. We've got. I mean, if you're looking down the left-hand side, if you're talking about Kent, you want Kent to go, commit his man, get by him, get Boz in the box. We should be looking to run off his man when he's standing on the touchline. Whoever's playing on the right needs to be doing the same. We had none of that, really. The one time that we took Hibs into a corner, and if you remember, Kent runs across the box and goes by three men, open goal to shoot, and decides to try and take another one. Why? Why is he not shooting? He's in the box. He's got plenty of room to shoot. and he chooses another option. Another stupid decision. So Tillman in the route the team now wasn't back in, and Saturday we've tried Lawrence. Still trying to find a bit of consistency. I think we've got the spine of the team. We've got the goalkeeper. We've got Golson. We've got Lundstrom, and we've got Kolach. So we've got the spine of the team. It's just trying to get an extra player into the midfield that's going to make the difference beside Lundstrom, because Jack's looked a bit off the pace. Kamara wasn't on through probably illness, as we suspect, and Stephen Davis will play the odd game, but you can't rely on a 37-year-old guy to carry us through a season. So we need to get a bit of consistency in there, but we need to get our forward players starting to create for the striker and try and hit a bit of form, I think that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. What midfielders have we got sitting on the bench at the moment? There are no midfielders that can come on. All players has. Can't see any.
Kamara, when you take Kamara out, and obviously Arfield's not that type of player, is he? He's a push and run player, isn't he?
Yeah, indeed.
You know, and I'm glad you mentioned Ryan Jack there, Southside, because Ryan Jack's been a fantastic player for us, but he looks half a yard off it, doesn't he?
Aye, I know he passed the ball to Kent and that, and he was involved in a couple of wee things on Saturday, but he doesn't look the same player he was at the moment. Could be struggling for a bit of fitness and form, but I mean, at this time of the season, we're in at the tough end on Wednesday night, and we're in starting in the league, and the last thing you should be saying is try to get players a bit of fitness. But he's been off it a bit, and he's not looked to Ryan Jack that we've seen in the past, Docs, to be honest, at the moment.
He's a yard off the pace, Ryan Jack, sadly.
You see that with the amount of times he gets caught in possession, Bridge. Yeah, he did get, he wasn't guilty of, was he?
Yeah, he's every third tackle's at a lunge with Ryan Jack at the moment. He's just no catching the ball. He pushes the ball forward and he finds it going too far, So he's just got to be a lack of pace, plus his touch on the ball, not 100%. That'll come, I would imagine, if we keep playing him, he'll get better and better insofar as match fitness is concerned. But it's not what you want now. You're looking for somebody 100% fit. But, can anybody tell me what's going on with Ben Davies? Is Ben Davies badly injured?
Well, I believe he picked up an injury on Saturday, mate. Yeah, I don't know if it was at a warm-up or not, but he picked up an injury. Southside.
I heard a wee rumour he'd probably picked up an injury, like you said there, Ox, but the club's been quite silent on it, and nobody really knows. So until he starts making appearances, Bridge, then we'll assume he's probably fitter when he gets on the park.
Absolutely, pal. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Aye, okay. Listen, come and join us, give your thoughts. 0141 356 1972. Phone in, speak to the reception, and we will get back to you. Yeah, we will get back to you. But be interested to see what people think. What would they do? What would they do different? Yeah, What would you do? What would you do, Southside? What would you do? You need consistency in selection? Is this the problem, or is that just the modern trend where you chop and change all the time?
I don't know. It's hard. Right now, mate, I think, like you say, we've got a spine of the team, we've got a defence. I think once we get the centre left side sorted, it'll make a huge difference. It's up front where he's sort of mixed and matched. And if you take out the European game at the moment, if you put that aside and we're just talking about the bread and butter, the SPL, we should be good enough to go out and beat teams and create. But we need to be on it. And I think on most days we should try and fit Lawrence and Tillman in the team because they create and they get in the box. And obviously Lawrence scored, Tillman scored. I know Tillman's young boy, it's a lot of pressure to put on him, and people will say, well, he played at Bayern Munich, but he didn't really play for Bayern Munich first team. And he's got to come and learn to win every week at Rangers, and the demands, and he is still a young boy, but he's a talent, and he looks as if he's got something there, and it's just about trying to get them into form. And Ryan Kent, the one we really need to start getting into form. If we're not really playing on the right side and we're chopping and changing, we at least need one of our wingers to be on form, Ox. And sadly at the moment he's not doing enough for a £7 million player, somebody we rely on to be a game changer for us or a match winner. And at the moment, he's no coming to the fore with that, is he?
No. Listen, I can't put my finger on it. There's no something obvious. I don't know what it is. And Bridgeman will go to the stage. I think Connor Golson's nearly been booked every game this season.
I just don't know what it is with Connor Golson, to be honest. There's something no right with his play, you know. I don't know whether he's suffering from something. I just hope it gets over it, whatever it is. And Kent, you're getting 60 to 65% of it, Kent.
His numbers have to improve, Bridge.
Absolutely.
He has to score more goals. I think I read something that's Tom Lawrence scored more goals than he scored all last season and this season put together.
Yeah, you know, if you think about it,
I don't know if that's true, but
even if you got Kent up to 70%, 75%, that will mean you're going to get a lot of assists from him, a lot more than you're getting anyway. And he'll be on his game a bit better and be able to see the openings to try and create something. If he's sitting, I really do think you're only getting 60 to 65% out of him, and that's way below what's expected from a man of the value you've paid for him. Because I like him. I think he's one of the best players we've got. There's no doubt about it, but he needs to show it. His
numbers need to improve, Bridges. I'll put this to Southside, but we'll join with Brostar, but I'll put this to Southside quickly. There's no point in beating 3 and 4 players if you either don't put them on the net or make a chance.
No, there isn't, to be honest. I don't know. I just don't know if Ox what's wrong with him. I mean, we know he can be a really good player, and we know a lot of teams try and shut him down, but he's just not contributing enough. And for me, he's one of our match winners, or he should be. And now, I don't know if it's lack of confidence, if his mind's elsewhere. I know he's got the year left in the contract, but something's not right up there now, and he's not really been producing. I know he's had some good games in Europe and all that, but that we can park that now. That was last season. We're on to this season, and at the moment, he's no the Ryan Kent that we know.
All right, okay. We'll be joined by Brostar. Evening, Brostar.
Evening, Ox, Southside, Bridgeman. Gosh, where do I start? I was on the show, and I said before that game started, I looked at the side. I was overly confident that side were done over the top of Hibs. I also made the point that Gio has been chopping and changing, as we all know. But what he has been doing, especially with midfield, when I looked at that side, I thought 9 of that team were guaranteed starters for Wednesday's game, with the exception of Tillman and possibly another midfielder. The forward line, bar Matondo, I didn't see him bringing anybody else in against the Dutch. The defence picked itself because the very fact that he started with Sands next to Goldson, as you're just saying, obviously Ben Davis isn't fit enough, or he's injured. There wasn't really anybody else he could put in there. So when I seen Sands' name in the team, my attitude was that's the defence that was starting on Wednesday. So the game started, and I says to Southside and that before it, well, I says even after it, I seen nothing. We had no shots on goal up until we get that penalty, a minute to half time. You get into the second half, certainly we went 2-1 up, but for me, we still weren't creating. As you've just touched on, Kent, goodness, I'm just not seeing it, guys. I'm just not seeing it. Southside made the point, yourself made the point. It was one of the times he beat 3 guys, and instead of taking the shot on himself, when he had a clear opening, a goal, he decides to blooming well pass it again. For me, the only move of the game, and I will say it again, the only move of the game, the only time that they contributed, factually promising, and it resulted in a goal, on the goal at Selhawks, the alarming thing was Lawrence was the only guy inside that 18-yard box when that ball came across. Why? And in Kolac's Ox, I've praised the guy to the hilt because I like his movement. But in that one move alone, Kent goes down the wing. Our team should be up to speed from midfield to attack. Whether it's winger.
Kolach was at the front post, south side. Boatstar.
Aye, I'm talking about behind him, who's running in, because he's not going to score the goal for the front post. No, the way Kent was hitting the ball, and that's what I'm talking about. The ball went back the way, so Lawrence had to run in to meet it. What I'm saying is, why is there only one player running into that box? For me, Lindstrom and any other midfielder, including your other winger, should all be in that box. So even when there are chances getting created, there's too many times, and we all spoke about it. Kolach was the only man in the box 9 times out of 10 when that ball comes across. And when you're up against defenders, i.e. 4 and 5 guys at a time in the opposing team, Kolach is like a fish out of water, and so would anybody else be. You could be the world's best striker and you're still going to struggle when you've got that amount of players running about you. They're not creating chances enough. The players that he's picking, guys, I'm coming to the conclusion, and I'm going to say it again. We need a couple of players in, and we need them brought in as soon as. I took pelters last week when I said, I happened to make the point, I wasn't convinced with the way we were playing, even though we had got a couple of results. We're only 4 games in it, I accept that. But my attitude was, and Gio did come out and say it, I never said it, Gio came out and said it, that his concentration at the moment was 100% on Europe. Bridgman didn't like that and says, no, but the league's still our bread and butter. We all agree on that point. But Gio said last week before that first game, his sole concentration, yet whilst they wanted to win in the league, more importantly, they wanted to get through in the Champions League. And I took that point on board. The fact of the matter is we were scrimping and scraping results because we've never been convincing in any game we've played so far. We have never come near close to playing a 90-minute game. We've had fits and starts here and there, wee bursts in between. We've never totally controlled a game. Now, we all know the players that we were told that he was bringing in were going to be trying to push for the first team to hit the ground running. Well, we haven't hit the ground running, nothing like it. So for me, guys, I'm going to say it again. We need a couple of players brought in pronto, or this league's gone. I'm telling you, because you can see it now. They are not up to scratch. They're not.
All right, thanks for that. I'll take that around the panel, and then we'll get some other callers. I like Age Before Beauty. Well, it's a bit of content. Bridgman.
No, that's a lot of what Blue Star says is quite true. That it looks like we're not right up to scratch, and the mere fact that lad Ben Davies he's only been able to go in the park a couple of times for us when we're really into the Champions League playoffs and things like that, and we kind of get him on the park. It's real tough. It's a real heartbreaker for us. And there's other players there that haven't quite shown. But I think the manager's selection isn't that great either, because that boy, what's his name again? The boy they left because of the game, Mackin or something like that. I can't remember his name.
Who?
Bayern Munich. The boy from Bayern Munich.
Tillman,
that's him. I think he should have been playing, and obviously you could see that. It's all right sort of talking about it afterwards, but we've got a really good squad. We should really pick 2 teams to go out and beat Hibs any day of the week, and we didn't do it. Very poor.
I take on board a lot of the stuff you said, Blue Star, but we should still be playing better than what we have been. And I don't think the word they used was he was only concentrating. I think it was prioritising. But listen, 3 points are 3 points. The league Southside.
I think we were winning Bridge on Saturday up until the 2 refereeing decisions, but it was a poor performance for most of that time. I think Blue Star, when we played the 2 false 9s up, and you had Tav and Tav and Borna going down the flanks, when the ball came in the box, we had Alfie, and if we were playing the 2 false 9s, you had the other 2 in the box. The now Gio relies on 2 wingers. he wants his wingers, I would imagine, because we play two wide men to either...
At the two outside side?
Possibly at tight, aye, because, as I said before the other day, I watched Borna. Sometimes Kent's only giving him 5 yards, and Borna's coming down the line with the ball, and he's sometimes two on the... When he gives him it, he's got a man on him within seconds, and then he gives it back. Sometimes he might have to come inside. And I think Gio's style, Blue Star, is he wants his two wingers wide at times, and then they beat the fullback and they deliver the ball in. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but 9 times out of 10 you'll have your striker in there looking for it. You should have a runner for midfield, which should be a Lawrence and a Tillman if they're both on the park, and you're looking for Kent on the left-hand side to be coming in at the back post, as all wingers should do. But for some reason, our two wingers don't do that very often. And if we start doing that properly, getting balls in the box with our midfielders coming into the box, then I will have more bodies in there. But you're right, 9 times out of 10, we're putting a ball in and there's only Kolach because the wingers are refusing to come in at the back post.
Granted, and I concur with what you're saying, but the fact is, Southside, we're 4 games in, plus we're 5 games in, counting our game in Europe. Well, we're more than that, we're another 2, we're 8 games in. That isn't working. It's never worked in any game because we've never controlled a game from start to finish. We've not even came close to it. We've not even controlled one half. So if it's not working, he's got to change it. We know that he's quite a stubborn guy because he's stuck with the thing by marking, the zonal. That certainly isn't working. He's now at the stage where he only has 2 defenders. He's only got Sands and he's only got Goldson. Sands, for me, to be fair to the guy, in the last 2 games, I think he's easily been one of our best players. Goldson certainly no.
Arguably our best player on Saturday, arguably.
Yeah, without a doubt. Goldson, if there was anybody else there, look, can't he dress it up anymore? The guy shouldn't be playing. He's totally off for him. He's costing us because he's making massive, massive blunders and mistakes. You get into midfield, he doesn't seem to know what his strongest midfield is. And when we're relying on that, by the way, I've been on the show, Ogs, you know I have. The wee guy Tillman, I think's a wee cracker. Incidentally, he scored a couple of goals, so he's more improved his worth. But when we're relying on 19-year-old boys, that's not what I'm looking for a Rangers team. I'm sorry, it's no. And if we've got that big a squad, you're talking about Arfield, you're talking about Stephen Davis at 37, you're talking about Kamara, who seems to have been right off the face of the earth, according to Gio. It's not acceptable. Where's this massive squad that we've got? Because they're not producing. He isn't using enough. You can look at it another way and say, well, he's not using enough players because the players that he's chopping and changing, it's not working for him. I think he's hit a brick wall a bit. Oh, so honestly, Dave, I don't think our manager really knows what his best team is.
You might be right. Listen, mate, good to speak to you. Keep up with the good points. It's always a pleasure to have you on. You look after yourself. We'll speak to you soon, all right?
Okay, cheers, guys.
All the best, mate.
All right, cheers, Brett. There's a lot of sense in what Blue Star says there. I get it, the chopping and changing. Or no enough. You know, I was speaking to somebody, quite a wise man, and I'll not tell you who it was. It wouldn't be fair, but it sounded like Pox. And he was saying, he said, what did he know when we were doing the 9 men? Bring on Sakala for somebody just up front and make it him against 2, and then it becomes, you know, you're taking 2 of their players out of the game and even up the odds a bit. And there's a bit of sense in that, Bridge. Yeah?
Yeah, because I think it was quite. I actually think it's embarrassing for us because what we ended up seeing was their goalkeeper virtually standing in the centre circle, waiting the ball coming, and that's just wrong. Just wrong. So every time we pump the ball, the goalkeeper's getting it, you know.
It's just coming straight back. But if you bring on somebody who's meant to have electric pace, or put so-called Matondo, who's meant to be in
exactly, I 100% agree with you.
All I've seen is his electric pace. If I've been honest, Southside is when he's in reverse.
Well, I think if you're right about if they brought Sakala on, you've got lots of opportunities to get substitutes still. And I think if we put Sakala on, tell him to stay up the park and let the rest of the boys take care of it, those who are going to boot it up, you'll see a difference. You would see a difference right now.
Hello, how we doing, Doc? All right?
All right, mate. Cheers.
Very nice to speak to you, mate. First time caller. Yeah?
Aye.
Aye, on you go, mate. The
I
floor's
listen to your
yours.
programme quite a lot on YouTube. Now, I'm nearly 70, and I can see what the problem is with Rangers, and it's been there for quite a long time. Maybe it's just a change in modern football. But most of the discussion tonight has been about the midfield and the forwards. I think Rangers' problem for the last number of years, and going back quite a long time, is what we don't have in the team is what we used to call, and I'm an old sweeper, as I said, is a mad boy centre half. Teams look at us and they're desperate to get corners and free kicks outside the box because they don't seem to be able to win the ball in the box, and that's what we're missing. I was hoping that the Suter guy would come in, and he's kind of more the old-fashioned type of player, but we don't have that. And if you've not got a lot of confidence in your defence, then that sets a problem. I mean, I think with the midfield and the forwards can talk all we like, but you really need to have confidence in your back four, and it's probably a consequence of modern football. A lot of the game now is involved with attacking players. But as I say, when I started going to it was like Shearer and McKinnon and Gregg and all of that, and it was a defensive. If you don't lose a goal, you don't lose a game. But I know you have to score goals. I think when you look at Connor Goldson, he'll admit it. When he played football as a boy, he was a centre forward, and you can see it in his game. He's more dangerous in their box than effective in ours. He's not alone. And that's the only thing I want to bring up.
All right, okay. Right, listen, good point, mate. What I'll do is I'll pass you to the guy that's neither your generation so we can discuss it with you. Southside?
You ripped it. Don't you believe him, Doc? Doc, I get the point. What you're trying to say is we need a Richard Gough.
Well, I was going to bring his name up, but you've done it for me.
Exactly. That's who we need. Somebody like a Richard Gough.
Somebody you know is going to win the ball.
Davy Weir.
In the box.
Davy Weir.
Done it. Sorry.
Davy Weir done it in our tail end of his career. We don't have that commanding centre back. Well, we do to a point, Doc. I think Katic does that job where he's no frightened to go in and put his head on the ball. But see, to be honest, Katic now is miles gone. He's no coming back.
Know, but even when he was here, he wasn't getting much again, was he?
No, but he's the type of player that'll go and attack the ball. He's no scared.
As I say, I'm an old super, and I used to play with a guy called John McCrone, and I knew every time a ball was punted up the park, he'd be winning it, and no matter if it was up against a bigger guy, a bigger centre forward, because he was that type of player, and that's what we desperately need, because I think everything else is ongoing, it's fine. We had our greatest ever season we could possibly have. We get that league title back again, and as I say, I was at Barcelona, and that was our greatest season ever, bar none, and I think a lot of effort was put into it, and I think what we're seeing now is a bit of come down after that, if you know what I mean. If you want to win games, you need to stop losing goals, especially when you've got a goalie and two centre backs who don't seem to be able to. I mean, they put when Hibs or any team that's players, they put their centre backs up against us, and they know they're probably guaranteed to win the ball. That's one of my kind of points aside, and maybe just. That's all I really want to say about it. I think if we can get a big guy who's going to say, any ball comes into that box, if it's not the goalies, it's going to be mine. Get my way, my ball, kind of thing. And we don't have that.
Right, he's been sitting waiting, biting his lip. In you come, Bridge.
Well, obviously, the words that you're saying is the words I've been saying for a number of seasons now. We desperately need that central defensive giant, and he becomes the focus of your team.
Yeah,
I quite like Goldson. I think Goldson's getting messed about greatly this season because he doesn't have a fat partner that's able to do the right job. I think Bridget
Goldson's happy on the ground with the ball. Right, you see him when he comes forward, then you see him when he goes up into their penalty box. He's really, really keen. They say that gets back to his days as a boy playing. But you want somebody that's going to go like that. This is my ball, and nobody's going to beat me. We don't have it. We don't have any confidence in us.
I've said it for a number of seasons now. The lads will tell you. I'm looking for a giant 6 feet 5 inch left footed. Big centre half. That's what I want.
Absolutely,
a killer.
Absolutely.
But see this giant you're talking about, Doc.
Going to play football.
See this giant you're talking about, Doc, who's going to. Yeah, I get it. I understand where you're coming from because we've all looked good, particularly the second goal we lost last Tuesday wasn't great, but we never got a shot on goal in the first 45 minutes. Would that influence that, apart from the penalty kick?
Well, no, I absolutely agree with you, but I think there's a wee bit of kind of an overemphasis on going forward, scoring goals. You need to be tight at the back. You need to have confidence in your defensive line. And I don't know how the players on the park feel about it when I watch it. I've been at a couple of games at Ibis this season. I wasn't going for a while because my hits are bad and that. But I just see a lack. It seems to be a lack of. And sometimes that can infiltrate right through the team. It doesn't matter how good you are, how many goals you score. Every time there's a corner, we're losing one. I don't know what the stats are, but I reckon if you look at the statistics over the last 5-10 years, most of the goals we lose are all set pieces. And that's an issue. I think Giovanni Bronkhorst is a clever guy, and I think he'll be a good manager for us. But if I mind right, Giovanni Bronkhorst was an attacking fullback. That's what is at his best. So it's kind of there. It's in your nature. You want it to be played the way you played it yourself. And what is your aim here? Your aim is to go forward, create stuff, score goals. Where's the guys that turn around and say, "No, I'm here to stop goals," and scored against us?
All right, mate. Great points. You just telling your Doc. You made your points very well. But
right, lads. Thanks. Thanks for taking my call.
Sit there, mate. We'll be right back. We'll be joined by Mark for Cumbernauld. Evening, Mark.
Hey, Ox, mate. How's doing, Troops? He's all right.
Good, mate. What's on your mind, mate?
Morelos,
right. On you go. You get it off your chest, mate. I'm here to do a bit of counselling for you.
Well, Ox, you know himself, right? You've sat and watched him for 5 years now, going on 6, all right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times has he scored against the Soap Dodgers? How many trophies has he won you? Take away the Europa League goals, who, by the way, if we had a better striker, like a Yelovich standard, they would have scored a lot more goals in the amount of games that Alfie had in the 5 years that he's had to score all the Europa League goals and win his 2 trophies and score 2 goals in the 5 years.
So sick.
I think Alfie was stupid. He peed me right off on Saturday. The same as everybody coming out of the stadium. It was just daftness, and there was no call for it. There was no need to do it. We were already doing 10 men. We were winning, and it just shows you he just basically decided to do it. And sometimes players do things mad that you go, what did you do that for? But to me, I just thought it looked petulant, looked like he'd been in a huff, and it was just, I'll just do this because I can. And for me, that wasn't acceptable as a Glasgow Rangers player. And if that's his attitude, and he should be fined 2 weeks' wages for it, mate. 100%, in my opinion, he should be fined for it. As in what he's done in Europe, I think he's been great in Europe. I think he scored some marvellous goals. I think he's terrorised defences across Europe in the last 2 seasons that he was here, probably 2 seasons ago when he hit his 30-odd goals and most of them were in Europe. I think he had a good season.
30-odd goals?
He did that. He scored 30 goals in Europe and in the league.
Right, so how many of them were in the Scottish Premier League?
I don't think he scored any more.
Games. Out of 38 games in the space of 10 months. He's managed his best record in his 5 years is 18. Even Liam Boyce managed 23 1 year.
And probably in the first couple of seasons he was here, he was often in the stands for most of it. I know. At times he served a lot of suspensions. He's not prolific. He's not prolific, mate, in the league. I'll give you that. He's no. His stats.
He's a dud in the league.
He's no prolific. I still think he's a decent striker. He's no the penalty box striker that. See, probably if you look at Kolac's goal the other night, if that probably came to Alfie, he's probably blasting it, whereas he guided it. His roof could finish in the box. He's not that type of... You'll never see Alfie run one on one and a goalkeeper and run round him. Never.
They won it.
You know, he'll just blast it. But you've got to give him credit, mate. You've got to give him credit. He's done well for his over a period of time for what we've needed.
Aye, in the Europa League, that's what we keep going back to. Alan McCoy's, in the mainstream media, Gordon DL, Clyde Wan, they're all king, Alfie, the Europa, scores the goals in the Europa. Listen, what I just said to you, if Alan McCoist had the amount of games and we set the chances up that we did for Alfie, it's doubled the amount of goals Alfie had. You know yourselves.
Mate, if you're talking about in Europe, all right, we're playing against different opposition. Maybe we were playing against the top crows, but Alfie scored goals out of nothing in Europe, mate. You know, he's done well for us in Europe. I accept.
Okay, I'm no bashing. I'm bashing him, right? But don't get me wrong, I'm bashing him. But in Europa League, I can't take his record away from him in the Europa League. But what I'm saying to you, if we had Jerovic that played the same amount of games that Alfie did in these 5 years that he managed to get that Europa League record, I think Jerovic would have had more. Simple as that.
Jerovic was a top player, mate. You know, decent player for us. In the league, Alfie scored since he's been with us. Remember, this is his sixth season, yeah. League goals, 14, 18, 12, 12, 12. Yeah, so
it's shocking, mate.
As a number 9, you're right, it's not enough goals, and we haven't been scoring enough goals. But what I will also say to you is a point we made earlier on, Bridgeman, we're not making enough chances, Bridge.
Yeah, 100% right. But sometimes we're playing really well in the midfield, and we get close up to where the defence is, and we just can't do anything about it, and we're just not creating any chances at all sometimes. And all of a sudden, the ball goes away, and the defender boots it up the park, and we're in trouble. That's what I was watching at Ibrox. I go to Ibrox and I watch that, and it's frightening to see how poor we are when we're not scoring. We are playing beautiful football up to the point, and all of a sudden you give the ball away, or the ball gets taken off you, and bang, away you go.
The system, Matt, is it the system we play? Would you be interested in seeing?
Listen, we all know about Gio's tempo, Sands at the back, the slow tempo, the horseshoe, the daft horseshoe thing that we've got going on. That's just a joke. We're sitting watching them across there, running riot every fucking week. You know what I mean?
Language, pal, language.
Yeah. What's what you're saying, Matt? Look, Doc, what's your view, Morelos? A guy who's seen a few.
Right. I think what I'd like to say about Morelos is there's no doubt that he's due credit, and I think when you start to compare players against and players gone by, you have to use a bit of context. You look at a team that Jelovic was playing with, you look at a team that McCoy was playing with. So that I would put, if Morelos was 3 or 4 inches taller, I'd make him a defender, because maybe he would terrify forwards. I like him, but he's just like a wee petulant boy sometimes. The thing about modern football now is never before has it been more important to play for your place. You can't sit with a pet at lip, and that's quite quick. And he's obviously overweight. He needs to get some of that weight off. He'll feel better about himself. He'll be quicker off the mark. But I mean, he's done all this before. This petulant stuff, fouling and getting sent off. That's who he is. I think
that's who he is.
That's who he is. But that's no good team you're trying to win a league.
That's not a Ranger. Right, so I know a Ranger number 9 is trying to win as a league. I want him to score the goals to win as a league. He's hopeless.
I agree with you. I wouldn't say he's hopeless. He's not getting a game now. He's obviously suffered a wee bit of an injury there. I think sometimes players start to believe the hype and they stop to get hungry for the game. I think Morelos might fall into that category. Right. And if somebody had come in for him a couple of seasons ago, then we'd have maybe got a wee bit of money for him. But he needs to build his career back up again. If somebody comes in...
Let's get yourself some mute on your phones, and because we're going to have a tune.
From Argyle, so young, to Glasgow City they come, seeking fortune and a new way of life. How could they know ambitions would grow? Such a beautiful story, and here's how it goes. Four lads had a dream to start a football team. They had no money, no kit, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers were born. 55 titles, we're still going strong. So hoist up your Rangers flags, sing with your heart and voice, celebrate the greatest club in the world. Let our history show what we already know. We are the Rangers, the greatest of all. For that's had our dream to start a football team. They had no money, no kit, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers are gone. 65 titles, we're still going strong. For that's had a dream to start a football team. They had no money, no kit, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers are gone. 55 titles, I'm still going strong. 55 titles, we're still going strong.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Frustration for Alfie. I totally get it. Southside Saturday was it's inexcusable, mate. If I'm being honest, he's not been sent off for 3 years. He's grew up a wee bit. Well, we thought he grew up a wee bit, but he showed his that flaw he's got in his character on Saturday.
Aye, 100%. He has been on a good behaviour bond, I think, because he has done well. But Saturday wasn't the time to start it back up again, unfortunately. And he is overweight, and he's got that temperament in him. And it'll need to be knocked back at him if he's wanting to have a future, and if he signs a contract going forward, mate, it needs to stop, to be honest.
Aye, okay. All right, we've also been joined by Ian. How are we doing, Ian?
No bad. You'll need to bear with me. I've got things wrote in a bit of paper, so I remembered them.
All right, you carry on.
That's because my memory's getting worse, you see.
You carry on, mate.
The refereeing to start, we'll start off with him, Willie Gollum, my precious. Him, I don't believe that referees have got certain agendas against team, but when Willie Gollum was always on in a Rangers match, it's as if you can see the pure hatred. They can't get the cared out quick enough. Lindstrom watched that hour again. It's no a rid. Alfie, definitely a rid. And his laughing going off the park, I don't know why you take that. And as for Kent, I mean, he tries to take too many players on and keeps losing the ball. He should pass the ball after he beat at least one man or something. Not try and beat 3 and 4 and then just hoofs the ball any old place. And that's by trying to walk the ball into the net. I mean, nobody's taking shots outside the goal anymore. I mean, you can score for about 30 yards. I mean, we're trying to walk it into the box and get nice wee totally passes going, triangles going, and trying to do this and trying to do that. It's not working. We're too slow. And then we get back to the defence, and it's that side to side to side to side passing. And then we nearly give the ball away, and then we're getting up the park again. It comes to nothing. I mean, right, we're 4 games into the season or whatever, and I've not seen, to be quite honest, we have not seen Rangers play a full 90 minutes. A full good 90 minutes yet. They've been either good in one half or just half decent in one half and minced in the other half. And I mean, this is just the beginning of the season. This is what you expect near the end when it's kind of squeaky bum time for maybe winning something. They keep playing like this, man. We're not going to win nothing. And we'll get leathered or we'll get well beat on Wednesday night if they didn't get a grip. That defence is mince. And I mean, look at Golson, 6'3", but when he jumps for the ball, he's 4'3". You know what I mean? Where did a 2 feet vanish? I mean, he ducks. He ducked when the ball came to him. A defender should be putting their head, their face, their body, other part of your body in front of that ball. That's what I was taught when playing for football school. You didn't turn your back on it the way Jack did. He turned his back as well. I mean, what's all that about? Are we getting feet nowadays to tackle? Or then when we do tackle, we get one sent off for nothing. Alfie definitely sent off. I've no argument with that. And I just think, I don't know if it's his tactics or whatever that's going, but Morelos, that was his turn and his time because Kovac has been on the park scoring the goals. I mean, this was his time to come on and show us what he can do, and he showed us what he can do. Way back a couple of years ago, petulant, spoiled wee boy. I didn't get my own way in the team. I didn't get it. I'm going to show them. And gets himself sent off. Instead of showing us the reason he wants on that park. And that's not the reason you come on the park with Rangers jersey on.
I think a lot of the stuff you've said, Dean, I agree with you. And you come, Bridgeman. Oh, south side.
I think a lot is thinking the same. I think Golston, Jack turned his back. I don't think Golston's. I don't think he likes. He's not a brave player. I don't think he's turned his back a few times at shots. He done it up at Pittodrie, I know. With a wee sort of scissor kick out with his legs, turned his back when a shot came in and he scored. And he doesn't seem to me be like a Richard Gough or a John Brun. You know, take one for the team, get a couple of stitches and put a bandage around his head and go back on. But players have changed these days as well. You know, different mentality probably to back to. But we've seen some Rangers players playing light with injuries and taking an injection and stuff. But we've not got the commanding centre back that wins the balls in the air. We're lacking a bit of creativity in the midfield because we're chopping and changing. He's not got a settled sort of midfield yet. And we need to get Ben Davis back fit, playing, and hopefully he'll make a difference to the left-hand side. Kent, I agree, runs into trouble, no pulling his weight enough for the team at the moment. And we had Matondo, a £4 million player, on the right-hand side on Saturday, done absolutely nothing. Although he's a young boy, but come on, we need to get more out of you than that, you know.
Of course, I mean, he's experienced at playing at football. You know what I mean? And he's getting that right wing, and there's just nothing. Or he put out on the left. There's just nothing. There's no end product. It's like as if he's twinned with right. You know what I mean? Gets down the wing and there's just no end product. I mean, I don't know what the hell's happening with Rangers now at the beginning of the season. And it's used and it's for Golson. I mean, if you're looking for a big hard defender or something like that, go out and try and buy one and get rid of Golson.
Just wait your turn, mate. Let Ian finish.
I would say get one, try to see if we could buy one, get rid of Golson. Golson's a bit of a liability too, because he's no putting his head and his face and his body where the ball is going. He's ducking and diving and hiding away from it my time, and it's cost us goals. No, we don't need a big man in the middle that does that. We need a man in the middle that's going to take it right in the face, right in the stomach, anything. That's the way players have always been playing. Now some of the team is playing like, I'm not going to say the word cowards, but you get what I mean. They're not putting their body on the pair. They're just, oh, well, I missed that tackle. I'll just leave it for somebody else now. You know, so I'm still waiting to Saturday, sorry.
I know that. I get your frustration, mate. Don't you worry. When you come, Mark.
So Sands and Golson are our centre backs. Is that good enough? I love Big Golson. I absolutely love the guy. Fair enough, I can hear every word Ian's saying. He should have jumped in front of the ball. Or he should have tried to make a go at least. Absolutely. So I don't know why he didn't do that.
I think when I looked at it again, I get what people are thought. I think when the boy sliced it, mate, it takes it away from him. Yeah, he turns his head, but he makes the effort to go to the ball. I don't think he balled out it. I think he made the effort to go. I don't know if he could just get there.
What you saying, Oxley? He kind of got a fright when it first get hit or something?
No, I don't think so. I think it was sliced, mate. You know,
but it's still tough.
We all know that we'd have jumped in the way, and it's easy to say this and all that. But it's Sands, so I'm going on to Sands now.
Oh, wait a minute. Speak for yourself. Me and Southside, when they jumped in the way, nobody's looked. You know what I mean?
You know it was a mite or four.
A mite or four.
Oh God. You know, but listen, look, we look like a team, and again, I'm going to go to the doc with this. Doc, we just look as if we're a wee bit short of confidence.
I think that's probably true, but as I said to you earlier on, I think that confidence might be coming from our defensive setup. And I mean, I don't watch a lot of Scottish football because of that carry on a while ago. I just refuse to watch it. I do watch quite a lot in National League and third and fourth division in England, and I can tell you, their scouts need to start going down to these games and having a look at the big centre halves that's down there, because they're feared for nothing. And they're the guys that will put everything on the line, and I mean everything. And yet we seem to have our central defenders, and this has been the case for quite a long time now, seem to have it in their head that the game is all about on the deck and playing the ball. And we've seen this right away. And before his back is marrying people like that, we need to have somebody whose job is turns around and says to you, all I want to do is be a defender to win the ball and stop goals being scored. Most of the emphasis obviously is in you have to score goals. You have to score goals. But if you keep losing goals where you know there's a problem, then the problem's at the top. Because I honestly thought, I mean, as I said to you before, Gerrard came in, he'd done the job in 3 years, what he was required to do, to stop him getting 10 in a row. Greatest ever season, nothing can eclipse that, in my opinion. I'd remind all Rangers fans how great that achievement was. But we now have to move on and compete with the team across the road whose noses get put at a joint and they're putting every effort in. And I don't want to talk about them, but we need to address our problems, and spending all the time thinking about how we're going to score goals. You need to stop goals being scored against you. And I don't know how many goals we've lost with set pieces in the last 5, 6, up to 10 years. I guarantee
dozens.
I can guarantee you it's more than goals getting scored just on the attack. But I would ask a scouting system, don't be shy, don't be feared to be seen go down to a third division game in England or a National League game. You might come across a wee prize to say that's a guy we're looking for, but you have to have a scout who might be a defender. If you've got a scout who's a midfielder orientated, a forward orientated, that kind of loses. I mean, you go to American football, they have defensive coaches and offensive coaches. We need to have somebody in the backroom staff who's defence minded. That might mean bringing back one of the old players whose names have come up recently. But we need to address our central defence in particular and our defence as a whole. That's kind of my opinion on that.
All right, can I just come in there? We've addressed that by trying to bring in the boy Ben Davies. Unfortunately, he's injured at the moment. So I think that's been addressed. We know there's.
So we need to see him. Sorry, we need to see how he goes.
Unfortunately, he's been injured, but at the present moment, the young lad stands, and he's doing not a bad job for what he is.
He's not a centre back, Bridge.
I'm saying he's not a centre. I'm saying that he's not a centre half, but he's at a stopgap. But we need to get the boy Ben Davies in. We need to get the man in that's supposed to be going to be doing the job, and that's what we need to push the balance in. Not as I've been trying.
He's injured.
I don't think.
I know, but I think he's going to do the job.
With the greatest of respect, pal, I don't think Suter is going to be a left-sided centre half. I don't think he's going to do it. That's my honest opinion.
Right, Mark, give us your last word. We've got a couple more callers coming in. Here's your last shout out for the night, mate.
My shout would be I'd want Matondo and Kent to start. I need more for them.
Aye, good shout.
Sands, I'm not sure about what he was doing for the first goal. Everybody seems to just sort of goals in that. But I'll let Sands go with that anyway. But
the Tavernier, Matondo, Sands and McLaughlin, mate, they were all had parts to play in the first goal.
Aye, exactly. Aye, so you could blame a wee bit to all of them. But Sands seems to get away with a wee bit these days, and Golson seems to get more. And I feel I'm a fair guy. So apart from Kent and the wings, I need them to start. I need a lot more for them. And what I've told you is about Morelos and Roof. See this guy Roof? He's sitting there getting 26 grand every single Friday night or whatever. Why? We're trying to win a league.
That's the problem, mate. You give people contracts, you're stuck with them, mate, when they're injured. It's a modern trend of football, and they're getting big bucks.
Spot on, Oxney.
Good to speak to you, brother. You look after your team, yeah?
Cheers for taking Cheers, lads. Thank you.
Right, lads, I'm a bit to go as well.
Cheers, Ian. Speak to you
soon.
Ian,
all the best.
Right, all the best. Right, night, guys.
Aye, I mean, it's... listen, again, at Southside we've lost a controversial game. We've lost a goal pretty much for the last kick of the ball. We've not played great. All the combinations... all the dominoes aligned, people are frustrated, mate.
Aye, we are frustrated. We've no started great, and we had 6 points on the board for 2 league games. No, and then we've got 3 wins. 9 points, and then we're looking for this one on Saturday, and just unfortunately we've not got over the line. But we can't disagree. We've not been playing great. We've played in wee fits and spells, but everything that basically everybody spoke about, mate, we're all a muchness that we don't have that leading centre back at the moment, commanding.
Well, we've been joined by Bob J. Evening, Bob J.
Evening, everyone. How are we doing?
Aye, good, mate. Well,
all right. I'm just feeling what was that?
Personally, I'm all right, but carry on, Bob J.
I hear you just picking out the bones of the weekend there. It's so frustrating, isn't it?
Aye.
I think that we'd have went on to win that game 3 or 4-1, no bother. But that's Rangers for it. Shoot themselves in the pit. Colin had made up his mind that Lundstrom was gone. Why did the boy Doyle Hayes not go in the first half? I'm sure you've touched on that subject, for exactly the same challenge. He got a yellow, and Lundstrom got a straight red. To me, that was total inconsistency with him. And then again, that's Colin for you. And Alfie, you've let us down again, son. Your track record is murder. I can't it's a wee while for you got sent out, but he didn't have to do that himself.
No, but there's
totally stupid. Then he put us in an impossible position. And then we go and drop 2 points through and let them open up a gap on us.
nobody's defending Alfie tonight. Well, we're maybe defending his play in the past.
No, you can't defend the indefensible. Oh, so stupid.
Petulant.
Maybe the boys walking out here, but you should think again at how good Rangers have been here. Well,
it's quite a team on the right outside, isn't it? I don't think anybody's defending him, are they?
Nah, Bob, the club should fine him a few weeks' wages and donate it to Erskine or the Rangers Charity Foundation or whatever else they want to donate it to. Because it was just daftness on Saturday, and as I said earlier, Bob, most people coming out the stadium were really annoyed about it, because we were a win. Well, we don't know, but I think we were held on with 10 men.
How were they held on with 10 men? They bother, but they held on with 10 men. They might have scored again. I felt that confident about it because they're not a great side. Then they go and let them and give them 75% of the part, and boom, they go and equalise. Drop 2 points, and now we're looking at a gap with them. What if they beat us at Parkhead? There's a thought, please. It's all looking good, boys. I can't. We've got 85% of the season to go, but again, you touched on it earlier, Roanoke. We're going half an hour, 35, 40 minutes, and we're not getting an effort on goal. We're not making an opposition keeper make a save. It's nah. I don't know. It's all flat to me this year, anyway. Well, it better not be flat and Wednesday night. I think you come out on Wednesday night and go for it.
Bridgeman, I get your points about we need a centre half, and with the amount of centre halves we've got injured just now, there's an issue in the team there, and I don't want to criticise James Sands too much. He gives you everything he's got. Is he a first choice centre half? I don't think he is, but we aren't. And I get it, you need that platform. That's the point you and Doc are trying to make. But we're not creating chances. So I don't know if the system with the two wide men is working, mate.
Well, I think the very first thing we need to do, obviously, is we can get the centre-back thing resolved in some way, or possibly that boy Ben Davies. But what we can't do is we can't have players that are looking at completely out of position. And that's what's happening. No matter what it is, for certain parts of their game, they just can't help it. It's just not there. If you've not got a left-sided guy, then you need to work about it, work around it. If we don't play with pace, tempo in our game, zing the ball about, being able to do that, we're running up for 35 yards and then just stop them completely. And but we're doing this for years. We're running up there, and then all of a sudden we have to come back and we pass it back, and we end up back inside of our own half, and that's fine for retaining the ball. And at least it keeps it in our area. But the truth is, it's not doing you any good. By the time you get back down there again, there's even more people in there in the box. So we need to come up with something. And I mean, the tactics. I think there's got to be tactics. How we're going to do it, how we're going to approach it. But most assuredly, everybody knows this when they're sitting at Ibrox watching, or even away from them watching. There ain't no pace, there ain't no tempo. We need to get the game back.
Back to Sands, I know we're saying he's not an actual centre back, but Southside, I've got to give you credit with his due. I thought he was my best player on Saturday.
He done well on Saturday. I know people maybe fault him for the goal, right? They might say he should have probably got closer, and the goalkeeper could have blocked it, I know, but I thought he was good against PSV Eindhoven as well, mate, which was obviously a class above when you got Luke de Jong up front. He's a midfielder, and I just think he'll always be judged that he's no this, he's no good, he's made this mistake, but he's a central midfielder playing centre back on the left hand side. Bassey was a left back, we moved him in there. He had more physical presence and stuff, but he wasn't great in the air, but he had other attributes. So James Sands is doing his best, mate, and we just hope that he'll continue to do his best on Wednesday night and we don't concede a goal. We need to be resolute on Wednesday night. We need to be a lot better than what we have been. And at the end of the day, mate, he's in there doing his best for us, so that's all we can hope for. That they do their best when they get picked to play for the Glasgow Rangers.
Aye. Bob Jervis, the zonal marking, as they call it now, the game last week, the first goal was a bit of bad luck. The second goal was shocking defending, wasn't it? lost Bobcher, or is Bobcher gone? Oh, Bobcher must have gone. But anyway, I'll come back to that. Listen, how do we solve this? We can't go out and sign a centre half and get him in the team for Wednesday night. So who's playing on Wednesday then for you, Doc?
Well, I think Sands is doing a good job. I know he's playing out of position, but there's some players you could play them anywhere and they're going to do their best and do a good job. So I think that'll be your two centre backs. Sands. I'm quite happy. Well, it was a wee bit of fault for the goal, but you can expect that when you're playing a guy out of position that's not a natural born defender. But I think if Rangers can just address, and I don't mean just for this season, I mean looking ahead, if we can just address this issue a bit with defence. I mean, I watch them sometimes and they start to pass the ball out for the goal, and it's back and forward, and sometimes your heart's in your mouth. You know what I mean? I think sometimes I see with Lundstrom, a player that can pick the ball up and just run forward with it, and then try and create something for there. But as one of your callers was saying there, you run 30 yards up the park, and then suddenly the ball's back down at your own 18-yard box again. It's so boring. You know, if we can just get somebody. And I think actually Lundstrom, if he had a wee bit more, somebody says to him, you know what, you can do this. Because he's got the size and he's got the confidence just to run forward, run at defenders, put them on the back heel, see the defenders knowing, well, they'll get up to in line with 18-yard box and then the ball will go back again. But I guess it's a different game now. And you can see it compared to what it used to be. As Pelé used to say in Escape to Victory, give me the ball, here, go. It's not that way now, but you've got to just do the best with what you've got. I actually think Rangers are not a bad team, and they're certainly lacking a wee bit in the creativity, but to me that still stems with a wee bit of nervousness about every time there's a corner, every time there's a free kick against us outside the box. Oh, we're going to lose a goal here. And it happens more often than no. So I think that's a big issue. Creative-wise, I think I've got a lot of kind of faith in the team will come good. Kent will come good again. But we just need to address this losing goals at the back.
Cheers, mate. We'll be joined.
Right, I'm going to go, mate. Right, I'm going to go. Thanks for taking my call, lads.
Smashing.
Right, good to hear from you, Doc.
Take care, boys. See you later.
Thanks.
Bye. Joined by somebody sometimes needs a doc. We'll be joined by Dave from Clubby. How we doing, Dave?
How you doing, lads? You okay? I know it's a bit bad at the moment, but we just got to get behind our team, and we've got to cheer on Gio. You know what I mean?
It's time to support the team. You know, we've drawn a game of football. Southside.
Aye, Dave. I was actually when Doc was talking. I mean, he was saying football's changed slightly. It hasn't a bit, but football is a simple game. Pass and move, right? Yeah. Pass and move. And sometimes we're no goat runners or movement up front when certain players have got the ball at the moment and we're fizzing the ball in and it's coming back again and then we're having to shift it to side. Yeah. We're no goat. Same at throw-ins. We've got one guy that will come and give the ball back to the guy that's gave the shy. We've not got anybody else coming and showing for the ball at the moment. But we need movement and we need runners. And at the moment, that's what we need to start doing better. And then we can zip the balls a bit quicker. Until that happens, then we're always going to have that slow pace and pass the ball from side to side, I think, at the moment.
But you're right, Dave. It's time to get behind the team, you know.
It's time to get behind the team, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because I know we drew on Saturday, but there's still more games to go and there's still more to play for. But you got to get behind Gio. You've just got to get behind him and you got to get behind the players. At the moment, we're going through a little torture at the moment, but they'll come good in the end. You know what I mean? If they beat Ross County on Saturday and then in 2 weeks they play Celtic, that's going to be a hard one. So I reckon you got to just get behind. You know what I mean? Win, lose, or draw. That's a Rangers story. You know what I mean? All the fans have got to get behind Gio. I know they're complaining about the transfers, what's come in and all that, but it's up to the board to sort that out. You know what I mean? They paid all that. Well, the board's paid the money for the players, but the Rangers fans are saying a lot of the players are not up to it.
Well, some of them we don't know. We've not seen enough of them. Bridgeman, in you come.
Yeah, there's a few players posted missing at the moment that we've still got to come round to. Some of them we have seen, and they're hot and cold. But it's still, I just don't see how our team is going to balance itself out properly. And again, I'll go back to James Sanchez, a smashing game of the weekend, and he's had a good couple of smashing games. He's got some weak spots in his game. We know that, and that's getting played out of position. But we need to get that sorted. That's your foundation. Get your defence sorted. And it's quite sad to hear the Rangers can't find a left-footed centre half. I just can't believe it.
Arguably, we'll get 3 on the treatment table.
I'm saying that they're there, but if we can't get them on the pitch, so it's kind of sad. However, that's the way it is, and we need to go on with it. And yes, I agree. We need to have a huge difference when we go out there on Wednesday night. Huge difference in the attitude of the players. Attitude stunk on Saturday. Just stunk. I don't know whether they thought they were just going to scroll through this game. A goal will come and everyone will be happy. We were 2-1 up, and all of a sudden our game just completely collapsed.
But why did it collapse, mate? It collapsed because of a refereeing decision, mate.
Oh yes, but we allowed that refereeing decision to cloud our game. We should have continued. Okay, we're 10 men, but I'm sure that our managers would immediately tell the guys, if anything happens, we lose an injury or lose to a sending off. This is the way we'll get tactics.
You don't practice playing with 9 men, Bridge, do you?
No, that's a God's honest truth, yeah. But I thought the attitude of Morelos is if he didn't hit that guy, then I think he was a bit unlucky to get sent off. But if he does catch him in any way, shape or form, then he'll mend him and we're losers.
I don't think that's the issue, Bridge. I think the issue, and I'll take this to Southside, the fact is that he gave the referee an easy...
Absolutely.
Yeah, Southside?
Aye, that's exactly it. Bridge, we never played well, but we were in the lead. And apart from Colin, the first one, Alfie's is inexcusable, and that's what's eventually cost us a point. That's just it.
All right, we've been joined by AK. Evening, AK.
Good evening, Knoxstert. Bridgeman, Southside. Anybody else that's there?
We do not.
Good evening, Kelso.
Hiya, pal. Kelso, aye. Bridgeman's allowed to call me what he wants. I've been called worse. Certainly half of you I have been.
I know that.
God, Saturday, Blue Star touched on a lot of what I was kind of thinking, but I was going to throw something at you. We've been shot shy first halves this year. 7 games we've played this year. We've scored 3 goals in the first half, and that's with 2 44th minute penalties. That just underlines what we're all thinking. We're not shooting enough on target. We're not taking responsibility. Defensively, I think we're causing a lot of their own issues with the zonal marking thing. I don't think the players are comfortable with it.
We never lost any of the goals on Saturday because of zonal.
No, I know, but previously we have been, and we know that against PSV, and it's going to be an Achilles heel as we go forward. But the same deficiencies cropped up on Saturday. We lose a simple ball in the midfield. Matondo bottles out a tackle. Tavernier's caught up the park. Golson's too slow to come across. That right back position, bump, goal. That's us, 1 each. Lundstrom, him getting sent off was a disgrace. We all know that. But for me, the worrying thing about that, Lundstrom looks to be our leader in the team. As soon as he went off, we folded across the park. We've still got a weak mentality when we get it in our face. And when we went down to 9 men, honestly, Morelos is unforgivable for that. When we went down to 9 men, why did we go 5-3-0? We'd no outball. That just invited Hibs to come up the park, and with 30 minutes to hold out, we're lucky we didn't get beat.
I can understand that. I would have brought a runner on and just tell him to keep 2 players occupied at their back, and the ideal one would have been Sakala.
Exactly, that's how we beat St Mirren in the League Cup. We left Kenny Miller up top. So we can win again with 9 men.
I mean, that's a bit of fluke. You're winning the game 2-1, so if he can make it 2-1 up the front, that makes it actually, you start even up a wee bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand that. I don't know what you thought yourself, Southside, but they were so close to pulling it off, weren't they?
Aye, I think I seen the rationale in it, that you probably could have put somebody on with fresh legs and hoped that it occupied them, especially if it had been like Sakala, although he's miles off it, although he's sitting on the bench. But he obviously went for the idea that we'll hang out and we'll just defend and we'll hold out. And unfortunately, we didn't get there, Alex, But I said earlier, I'd have fined Morelos and gave his money to charity, because I think it was disgusting what he done on Saturday. It wasn't what we needed. We wanted him back playing, try to get a bit of fitness and get a bit of weight off him and get him back to playing at some point. But he let us down badly, as well as Willie Collum's shenanigans. But we just couldn't get it out of the line, and this is the outcry for it, mate. We're not happy because we've dropped 2 points, but performances haven't been great either, to be honest.
Oxshire, did you listen to Talk Sport at all today? Graham Souness was on it.
No, I was putting back in Great Britain, mate.
Right. Jim White Jim White posed the question to him about Morelos, and he said he would actually look to sell him now. He's too much a liability. That's 8 red cards he's had. I know he's not had one for the 3 years, I believe now, but that's 8 red cards he's had. He's the most red card player that Rangers have ever had. Total liability. You need to look to cash in and get rid of him now. That's what Souness said.
The problem is, if we're looking to sell him and one of the buyers is listening to this show, they're not going to buy him, are they?
Well, we only bought him for $1 million. He's got a 1 and 2 goal scoring ratio, which is pretty good. But when his discipline is that poor and he's letting the team down as bad as what he did, I think we've really got to consider it. He's in the last year of his contract. Just cut our losses, get rid of him. Same with Kent. If he's no willing to, that's where we went wrong with Golson. We let him string out a full season, and now we're landed with him for 4 years. I think we should be looking to sell Kent as well, and Kamara.
All right, so
that's a bit strange, that one.
You want to sell all our best players. You obviously know a lot about football.
Well, on the flip side of that, Alex, if we did a business on Wednesday night, right, and get into the Champions League group stages, and they don't sign, right, we're still pulling in the money and we're in the group stages, and probably only one will have contributed to get us there. So, in a way, you could be going into the Champions League where they're not going to sign or no. It's hard to shift them, Alex. £7 million a year left in your deal. There's a million people trying to come in and want him. I mean, he doesn't score a lot of goals. His form's no great. He potentially be looked at as a match winner. But how many times has he been a match winner? He's done pretty good in Europe. He's a wee bit more freedom. He was maybe in a bit better for him. And Alfie, unfit now. Look at his goals record in the Premier League. 12, 14, 10, whatever. Does a business in Europe. So you're saying sell them. But, it's no that easy. It might not be that easy to get rid of them.
Well, we've been joined for somebody who can always sell Maltesers. Evening, David.
Evening, boys. How are we? How you doing, Bridge? How you doing, Suicide?
Hi, David.
Oh, Bear, how you doing? Very lively evening. But I'm going to ask you this. What way do you think the conversations would be going tonight if we had managed to get the result on Saturday?
Heroic performance, Davey. Tremendous character.
Yeah. It would be, wouldn't it? Now, we were only a minute away from that. And the only one that screwed it up, and we all know who done that, because once he done his red card carry on, I'm not even going to bring up Morelos, because that's just something. He just wants to get wants to get his act together. But I think we've had to come out of there with the 2-1-1, which I heard the guys saying, I think we are more than confident to see that game out. But when we went down to 9, that was back to the wall. But we nearly done it. But we need to do something for Wednesday because that was dire, pure dire.
The only good thing about Saturday was that Alfredo will still be fresh for Wednesday.
Something all right there, by the way.
He doesn't look fit, mate. He doesn't look fit. You know,
he's never looked fit for weeks and months.
No, well, obviously he's had the injury, mate, and we don't know what's going on, but he just didn't look fit. He doesn't look as if he's fit enough to be in the bench, if I'm being honest.
Exactly. Why is he on the bench? Oaks, why is he on the bench? That's the thing I like to question. And I think the way we're playing out, what our system is baffling. I think that's a problem with a lot of the players. I don't think they know how to implement what he wants them to do. Because the passing's atrocious.
Southside.
I think that's the thing at the back, David. We're going to be trying to walk the ball out on Wednesday night, you know, and they're going to push their players up. And we're going to have to be brave on the ball. We're going to have players available. And it was a bit like Saturday as well at times, trying to walk the ball out because we think we're Man City. Like everybody plays this way, so we can do it. It's good when you've got the players and you've got the right balance in your team. But we've got a central midfielder playing centre back with a right foot, trying to play left hand side. And as much as he's doing his best and done pretty well in a couple of games, you don't get that complete balance. So we need to get the balls up quick, Dave, and we need to have players available in the midfield that are willing to come short and be able to take a pass in and look to move it on and have another player available. So we'll see come Wednesday, but I believe that's where we'll have to start. The base will need to start.
I know what you're saying, Southside, and I 100% agree with you. But it's what we've got. Have we got that available to do that? I don't think we have.
Well, we've only got available. Listen, the defence will be what it was on Saturday. You know, we've not got any other.
That tells you everything, isn't it?
Well, aye, but we don't have any other options. They're the most players that have played the most game time. So we've got to rely on them. What I think is we need to get John McLaughlin, hopefully he'll just need to come out and try and catch balls in his 6-yard box. And I know sometimes players put players on the goalkeeper and that, but you'll need to look to get yourself. I think we need him crucially on Wednesday. We'll probably play zonal, but if we didn't, then we need him to try and get a fist or something on the balls when just for corners. They'll not play a lot of high balls into your box apart from corners and that. They'll play on the deck and try to play balls through our defence, 1-2s and that. So, but at set pieces, I hope John McLaughlin's brave and can get his hands on the ball, mate, because that'll take pressure off the defence a bit.
It's interesting, Davey. You're right about your initial point. If we'd have held out, mate, it'd have been heroic, but it wasn't. And AK's came in with a point in the start. We talked about earlier on about our first half performances being slow and arguably predictable. AK
100% predictable. It's just side to side to side to side and no taking shots on target. I mean, somebody mentioned it earlier, there was the opportunity. Kent taking 3 Hibs players out the game, cut inside, goal glaring at him. He opted to pass rather than shoot. Why? He's not willing to take responsibility. Confidence is low. Lawrence did the same. Lawrence did the same as well, and I think maybe Lundstrom had an opportunity to shoot and he tried to find somebody as well, you know. So it's just no good enough, mate. It's predictable, as you say, and I don't know. I listened to Go Radio earlier. Mark Guidi made the point to say, listen, John McLaughlin is a very good goalkeeper. He says, but Alan McGregor will make inspirational saves. Do you ever see John McLaughlin making an inspirational save? He didn't even move for that ball. Not to say he would have saved it or McGregor would have saved it, but I think McGregor would have made an attempt. You know, McGregor seems to come up with these saves. it's practically impossible. How did they get there? I remember one at Standard Liège. Was it 2 seasons ago? It looks like a mirror image of the team that we had last year, and they look as if they're resting on their laurels for what they done last year and think that that's good enough to go into this year. You need to reset. You need to go in there with a different focus, a different mindset. Last year's in the past. You can't, go forward with that same mindset. This year's got new challenges. Celtic's laying down the marker the new. They're finishing teams basically in the first half, and they're racking up the goals. So we're 2 points ahead, but we're 4 goals ahead, and that's worrying. We're only 4 games into the season. Look at the players that's available to us as well. This feels like the end of the season where we've got so many players injured. We're buying players that's injured coming into us, and we can't fit them into the team right away. That's not right. There's something wrong there with the recruitment of Ross Wilson, surely, or the medical team. I don't know.
I think
if
you bring somebody in, mate, and they get a muscle injury 3 games into it after doing a bit of pre-season, mate, that happens. And there's no rationale to it, and you can't blame Ross Wilson for that. He gets scouted to get Ben Davis in the door. He gets him in the door. He gets him in. He does a bit of pre-season. We get him in the team, and he gets injured. Southside, we can't blame the recruitment for that, can we?
It's a type of player, though.
Aye, it does happen. I think what we find in it's probably frustrating because a lot of the players probably over the last wee while that we've tried to bring in have all sort of broke down or they've got injured over a period of time. It is frustrating, but he didn't have a lot. He played a lot last year, and I think in the Championship, and then we bought him, and he's come in and he started pre-season. Souttar's one where I was hoping that he'd probably play a lot more games than what he has, and at the moment he's not available. Hollander, look at the record he had. It's no good enough. We need the reliability of Golson and Tav's performances in the team, and Borna, unless he's dropped, gives you no bad game time, to be honest as well.
Ox, can I just say something, please?
Aye, Davey, of course.
Why? See, during the game, the first half, their manager made 2 subs. Okay, right away, 25 minutes, I think it was. Shoot them all. He's changed his tactics as he's realised we're not putting enough pressure on Rangers. Matondo, who's a speed merchant, but they don't need to tell him to take the ball with him. He should have been worked off. He should have got Sakala, but that's a manager. We're not pointing fingers. We're just making comments at what you see. And I think that could have been changed long before. He can't wait till somebody sent off to hook him. I just thought that was pure judgment.
I think the problem is, mate, I don't know if he's one of these guys that's using the 5 substitutes to your advantage, if I'm being honest, because we've had discussions about that in the past. I think there's guys when they're booked, you've got to look to use them because you've basically got 2-3 hits. South side, and you come and then we'll go to AK later.
I said Matondo sounded like a motorbike. He was more like a Vespa than a GPZ 1300. Honestly, I mean, Dave, you're right. See, watching him, we gave him plenty of room, and he got the chance to go and run at the defender, and he chose not to. He chose not to use that speed, So I don't know what was wrong with him. It was frustrating, Davey, and I would have had him off before that. I'd have made the change on the right hand side.
I don't know what happened to Ryan Kent either.
No, you're right. You're right, Dave. For Corby. I mean, Kent didn't play well either, but Matondo's a young lad who they kind of games we know traditionally, but kind of games we get through there, good or bad or indifferent, and. I don't know, sometimes we put these guys in there. We've done it with Dalio, and we've done it with Ojo, and look, they might have ability, they might have pace, but you need heart in Scottish football. Bridgman.
Correct.
Yeah, you need a lot of heart sometimes, and the teams, there's a number of teams, and as we know, that they're all defensive against us, but like say the Hibs and Hearts, we know it's going to be a very tough game, physical. And our players need to wake up and be physical accept the physical aspect of the game and get on with it. But we don't do it. For some reason or other, we don't do it. I just think we stopped in certain strategic parts of the pitch and tried to retain the possession, and it was just, we fell apart on us. I loved our goal. I thought we just got the penalty, but I loved our goal. The goal was absolutely superb. And why can't we do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times? That type of passing, that type of tempo, and it beat them all hands down. They beat them all hands down, and they couldn't even catch us to kick us. You know what I mean? That was great. We need to do that. We really do need to do that. Seriously.
Well,
Come on,
we've also got to remember it was 12 against 9 for the last 15 minutes.
12 against 9, right enough, right? Brilliant.
See, another thing, Ox, it wasn't picked up anywhere. There was one instance in the first half when Tav went to the sort of the corner near the corner flag to take a throw in, and they were launching missiles at them, so they were. But it wasn't picked up anywhere, and nobody seemed to mention it, you know, which was disgusting again, you know, for the Hib support.
Well, the previous for it, mate, and then the people on the park have invaded the park. They've done all sorts, you know.
Correct.
And by the way, there's people trying to get seats, and once again in a stadium in Scotland, thousands of empty seats outside, thousands.
Aye, up behind the other goal, there was plenty of spare seats up there, and there was pockets of them on the left-hand side up the top of the stand, and on the right-hand side. But obviously, they could have you'd probably moved them for the back of that goal and dotted them about the two stands across each side of the park. You could probably got the Bears in there for another £33 a pop, you know.
Exactly. Wonder what they charge St Johnston.
Right. Be a few quid less.
Well, gentlemen, and AK, we've reached that time of the evening.
It's a shocker, isn't it?
Welcome back, Oxford.
Listen, Dave Corby, thanks, mate.
Yeah, no problem, lads. Keep cheering the Jazz on. We'll get there in the end, lads. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All the best from Corby.
Cheers, mate. AK.
No, thanks for taking my call again, guys. Here's hoping we have a massive improvement for Wednesday. Safe journey and enjoy the game, Southside.
Well done, boy. Well done.
Stars usually in the East, Alex.
I see what you've done there. Southside. That was very subtle. The Malteser kid.
Well, it's a great show as usual, but we need to keep our chins up. And all I can say is I can rub all the questions I've wrote down on my error math.
Dave, we don't have a test at the end of the night. You're all right. You don't have to write all your answers down.
Well, they used to call me the memory man, but that's gone long ago.
Oh, Dave, it was the elephant man.
Aye, it's always a pleasure, guys, and take care.
Cheers, mate. And AK, it wasn't for his looks. Bridgeman, Southside.
I was going to say, I remember seeing the Elephant Man in Toledo Junction back in the day. Lively night, mate. Lively night. Alex doesn't know where Toledo Junction is. But no, a lively night, mate. Good debate as always. Looking forward to the Bears doing the business on Wednesday. Looking forward to it, mate, and hopefully we'll get a great performance out there and a good memory and get into this Champions League group stages. Because if one thing is, mate, we deserve to be there. We've done all the hard work, and we deserve to get there. And hopefully, Gio will pick the right team. We'll create enough chances on the night, and we'll get that ball in the back of the net. Hopefully, more than once, and that should probably do us. And we're looking for a big, massive performance. 11 Rangers players need to turn up on the night and do the business for the Glasgow Rangers. So thanks, mate, for having me on, and thanks to Bridgeman as well.
Yes, speak to you soon, Mucker. Bridgeman.
Yeah, can I just echo what Southside said and kind of thank him for helping me out tonight and keeping me on the show. and to yourself, Oxtear, and your team. Seriously, guys, everybody, to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here at Rangers Radio. Wednesday night, biggest game of our season, probably any season. This is a cracker, and we've got to do it. We've got to come out and show we can do it, and do it. So everybody, keep it going for the Rangers, and get in there and support them however way you can. Keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers need us. Keep it going.
Thanks, Bridge. Thanks to AK, Old Davey, Blue Star, Bob's here, Dave Corby, Ian, Mark, and of course Doc, first time caller. Great to hear him. Thanks for Southside and Bridgeman for doing the show. Fox and Old School Boy for doing the technicals. Everybody out there on Facebook, YouTube, and that, Twitter, etc., listening, and the people in the Rangers Radio lobby. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. We'll be joined by Billy in Port Bear. Thanks for listening. Take it away, Old School Boy.